Hello, welcome to Jurassic Park 3 Minute. We'll be discussing the second Jurassic Park sequel 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And today we're back to discuss minutes 18 of Jurassic Park 3. David, ready to get into it?
Sure.
Alright. As we enter minute 17 of Jurassic Park 3, the Kirby's chartered aircraft had arrived at Isla Sorna, but not before a warning come over the radio that the plane was in restricted airspace and needed to turn back immediately. As we open on minute 18, after Udesky turns off the radio, he flips some switches on the dashboard, and we cut outside the aircraft as the Jurassic Park score begins to play, and the plane approaches Isla Sorna above the ocean. At the 10-second mark, it crosses the beach and enters a large, tall valley, and continues flying into the interior of the island. At the 30-second mark, we cut inside the plane as Amanda and Paul look out the windows, seemingly searching for something. Out Amanda's window she can see a small jungle river, partially covered by foliage. At the 40-second mark we cut back outside the aircraft as it lowers to about 100 feet above the trees and begins to cruise above the open plains of Isla Sorna. Back inside the aircraft, Billy and Alan look out another window and see a herd of triceratops and other dinosaurs grazing in the field. Grant smiles and says, "My God, I'd forgotten." And as the minute ends, we cut high above the plane looking down at the grassy fields as stegosaurs, triceratops, brachiosaurus, pachycephalosaurus and parasaurolophus all run in different directions, startled by the plane flying overhead. Last minute we've seen Udesky turn the radio off and interrupt the incoming transmission they were receiving, and just then we start to get the Jurassic Park Arrival at Nublar theme begin to play as we cut outside the plane. And it descends on the island.
Mm-hmm.
There's not going to be a lot to talk about this minute because it's just going to be a lot of plane flying around. But it's sort of here again invokes the arrival to Nublar, just in the theme, the song playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it's sort of a slightly different angle, and it is a completely different coastline, but they found the same similar triangular rock outcrops out to sea, and the same sort of we're going to enter via this big wide valley.
Yeah, and it's interesting because for The Lost World, it had a very, very different kind of just general tone about the island. Even going so far to have, like, the cinematography represent the island with this kind of pale green, kind of olive drab look to it. And then they don't bring that back for the sequel for the same island. So you kind of get confused because with Isla Nublar, whenever I watch Jurassic Park, I remember just how beautiful they showed the island there. I mean, it's just a beautiful tropical island. You can see why John Hammond chose it. But with Isla Sorna, it's just dark and dingy, and it's just everything that Isla Nublar is not. And then they bring more of the Isla Nublar look to the island than Isla Sorna.
Yeah, well, even in Jurassic World, you just get a lot of that sort of lush, different, vibrant greens in the grasses and the jungle itself. Even going back to the start of the movie here, where they're just in the ocean, parasailing along the side, and just how green the cliffs are. Where, as you said, like the arrival to Sorna on the barge, it's just everything's muted, dark. We still have the clouds. The clouds are still here, but it's not as mysterious, and that's sort of one issue I have is it's not supposed to be bright and cheerful Nublar like we've seen before. We're going back to Sorna. We know it's the Lost World. We know it's sort of the darker place. And for pretty much the whole movie, even when we do get into the jungle, even though it's sort of made to be more old, it's still pretty vibrant in its colours, greens. More so because they've got all the lighting inside the stages, I suppose. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I will remember though that I think it was an advertisement for the collector's edition for Jurassic Park and the Lost World when they both first came out on DVD with those collector box sets. And at the end of them they showed this clip of the plane. I remember specifically this clip of the plane being at the end of one of those commercials, And it says, win a free trip to the set of Jurassic Park 3, and then they showed the Baryonyx logo.
An artifact left over from early marketing.
So yeah, this might have been one of the earlier parts of the movie actually finished with filming done, and then processed to be used in early promotional.
Mm. Yeah, we know they spent 2 days filming all the exterior stuff of the island with the parasailing and here with the plane on the approach as well, so it was probably one of the earlier things they had done long before the script rewrites and that, because they knew they had to get to the island somehow.
Well, they also kind of book that stuff like way in advance. You know, they have to talk to Park. Like I think some of the I'm not sure if all of it, but a lot of the principal footage for the Spinosaurus scene was done at a national park in Hawaii, in Kauai, and just some of the shots of them running around before it's kind of interlaced between that and a set. And so I remember reading in the Winston Effect that they had the park rangers heavily watching them because they had so many kind of rare flowers and stuff on this place that they wanted to make sure nobody stepped on anything or got any any kind of oil or anything on the ground at all. So they had to be like utmost clean when doing principal photography.
Well, that's it. They even just get all the permits and that to do the stuff
as
well.
Too. Because when they do this, like I said, they book it way in advance, and then they have to do location scouts, and then they have to do, I think they might have actually went back to New Zealand for this one again before script changes happened, and they were kind of forced to build sets.
Yeah. Well, there's also this sort of the local indigenous communities as well. Sometimes it's on land, and you got to do the I can't remember what you call it now. You got to sort of acknowledge them and sort of seek their permission to film as well.
Yeah.
But we do get a couple of great shots here of it sort of coming in, using this valley to get past the cliffs on the outside of the island, because we do see the cliffs start to drop a bit and open up to some nice large valleys, and we sort of get that vista of the interior Sorna. We cut inside the plane as Amanda and Paul look out the window, and we get a brief shot of Amanda looking through the window down at the jungle river that's nice and enclosed on both sides with dense foliage, which sort of raises a question. If they're here looking for someone, in the script it's described as they drop down 100 feet off the ground, so they're not going to see, or there's a lot of jungle whipping past underneath. With they're hoping that Ben and Eric are going to have some sort of signal if a plane does fly over, but
that would have been smart.
yeah. But then if there was some sort of signal, surely that Coast Guard plane would have spotted it as well.
True.
But then if there was no, if they didn't track or didn't spot the parasailing boat, then they'd have no idea that anyone was on the island to start with. So they might not even be looking; they're just there patrolling. But yeah, as I said, that sort of a plane drops down above the treetops and is flying along, and back inside Billy's looking out through his window, and we start to see animals, green triceratops, a pair of Parasaurolophus, and they're the same sort of yellow as what we see in the Lost World, so it's definitely males there, and even the triceratops have got sort of that green stripy tiger stripe pattern like we see sort of on the Tyrannosaur, which would again, that's sort of the design they're going for the males of the species, or male animals.
I think it's kind of funny how you can tell they filmed this in like a middle of somebody's field. Because when you look around, you can see straight lines of trees where they're denoting the different fields like you would see in the Midwestern United States.
Yeah, the land's definitely been cleared. I wonder how much CG work was done just removing tracks or fences or any sort of man-made objects. We'll get to one shot later where one man-made object definitely wasn't removed, and I don't think it's power line. It's supposed to be power lines for the island, but we'll get to that when we get to the airstrip.
It's funny because in the first Jurassic Park, you kind of get the same thing. In the Triceratops paddock, you just get that kind of like a 3-foot tall barbed wire fence between the Triceratops and the cars, and that was just some farm road they decided to roll down and film on, and then you